Good afternoon, this is Ryan Lewis with your 90.3 WESS News Brief for Thursday, October 17th. The time now is 2 o'clock. According to the Pocono Record, 5 members of East Stroudsburg North's girls volleyball team were injured in an accident Tuesday morning. All the girls were taken to nearby hospitals, one by helicopter, after the crash had happened around 10:30 in the morning. Superintendent Sharon Laverdew said, "We're very relieved that everyone is doing as well as they're doing right now." The crash happened around Tom X Road by Gravel Ridge Road in Middle Smithfield Township. According to police, the driver of the car didn't slow down coming up on the turn, crossed over the double yellow line, and crashed into a telephone pole that was off the road. The ages of the girls were 15, 16, and 17, with 3 of them being 15 years of age. The team canceled its senior night against Prius attended high school because of the accident. According to the Philadelphia Inquirer, a Delaware County church is said to be ending its 93-year-running Boy Scouts of America troop after it was allowed to have gay youth Boy Scout members. Reverend Paul Thompson of Alden Union Church said, "We believe that among those sins is the sin of homosexuality." Thompson said that members of the church's board of elders nearly voted unanimously to stop the long-running sponsorship of Alden Pac 2 and Troop 2. He called on the departure with the troop's sorrowful, excruciating, and a sacrifice for the church. Local American Legion Post has taken the liberty of taking in both Pac 2 and Troop 2 so that they could continue their practices for the young boys. Although the move was said to be inconvenient, Scoutmaster Gregory Daniels said they were thankful for the new home. According to the New York Times, the high school equivalency exams taken by high school dropouts and immigrants wanting to obtain their General Education Development, GED, and become part of the American education system are going to get harder and maybe even more expensive. About 700,000 people take the General Education Development high school exam every year, and about 70% of those people pass. The new changes in the test will include a more advanced math section with more difficult algebra and reading and writing tests that will test higher order critical thinking skills. The changes starting in January are also said to be looking to start a change in the high school exams that might add to the already heated debate of proficiency tests that students are required to take to graduate high school. President of GED Testing Service Randy Trask said that the new cost of the test would be $120 and would cover the expense of same-day scoring with more detailed scoring reports of the students after taking the exam. As of right now, the state of New York covers the student's cost of the test, which is $60 for each exam, and in Massachusetts, which the test takers pay $65 for the exam. So far, with the new plan in line, 40 states plan to offer the new test in January, while an additional 7 states are going towards the Educational Testing Service exam. New York has decided to go with a new program and will cost and rise about $80 per test. According to CNN.com, there was a deadly 7.1 magnitude earthquake in the Philippines early Tuesday afternoon, which caused the death of 144 people, authorities said. The earthquake happened at the beginning of the Muslims' festival of Eid al-Adha, which many people were celebrating during the time of the disaster. The earthquake had also injured an additional 291 people, with the bulk of casualties happening in the Bohol province. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center said that there was no threat of a tsunami to occur, even though they warned that earthquakes of this size can sometimes cause a tsunami within 100 kilometers of the epicenter. With 20 people reported missing, authorities are checking into collapsed buildings with reports of those people being trapped there. Tonight in sports, Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks traveled to Glendale, Arizona to face the 3-3 Arizona Cardinals team, who are seeking to remain undefeated on their home turf and create a huge upset in the NFC West to shake up the division early in the season. A highly anticipated matchup on the night will be seeing Seahawks Pro Bowl cornerback Richard Sherman take on one of the best wide receivers in the league in Larry Fitzgerald. Sherman has 3 interceptions on the season, and Fitzgerald catching 4 touchdown passes along 405 receiving yards on the season. The Seahawks are coming off a 2013 victory last Sunday over Tennessee Titans to look to roll on as the Cardinals look to bounce back after a 32-20 loss to the 49ers last week. According to the Los Angeles Times, there are competing ideas for 2 feature films about the controversial cyclist Lance Armstrong after his fall from grace happened a couple months ago. A documentary is already in place to be released next month about how Armstrong went from one of the most looked up athletes to a man everyone despises for lying about the using performance-enhancing drugs to help him win a majority of his Tour de France titles. The documentary, starring some of the real participants in the race and storyline, prepares to hit the big screens on November 8th of this year with the title of The Armstrong Lie. The film is directed by Oscar-winning documentarian Alex Gibney. In ESU news, the Ultimate Frisbee team travels to Penn State University this weekend for their 3rd tournament of the semester. The team looks to keep up its winning ways and improve their record of 7-3 and to shock some of the Division I schools attending the tournament and make a name for themselves among some of the top Ultimate Frisbee clubs in the country. The ESU men's rugby team travels to Rowan University for a game this Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. as to try to get their second win of the season and improve their overall record to 2-4. And weather, brought to you by the Weather Channel, is a high of 71 with a low of 49 with late p.m. showers. And the traffic today, brought to you by Google Maps, traffic is moving fast on 80 East and westbound with slow patches on 611 in the Bartonsville area. This has been Ryan Lewis with your 90.3 WESS News Brief, and now back to the BBC.